Hi and welcome to Fall Asleep with Henrik. I'm Henrik and you're sleepy and it is what it is. What happens, happens, and right now there is nothing we can do about it. And with that said, let's just go. Hi, sleepy. Hi, and welcome back to my humble abode. I am Henrik, and this podcast is growing, and it makes me so happy. Every week now, I get a lot of emails and DMs from you guys from all over the world, and sometimes I feel the urge to pinch myself real hard because I wouldn't have imagined this when I started out this journey. More than a year ago. And it makes me so happy that you're here. If you're new here, this podcast is not meant for active listening. Well, you can listen if you want, but there's no, I don't need you to listen to what I say per se. I don't need you to listen to what I say per se. I will just speak and I don't have a script. I'm trying English. That's my second language. And it forces me to think around stuff because I don't always find the correct words or phrasing. So I need to think in circles, like a predator closing in on its prey. If the if the thought is the thought is the prey, and the way of approaching it via a second language is the predator, the predatory behavior. So as you can hear, I don't really think ahead. I just open my mouth and I say words. And I do this every week, all year around, in Swedish and in English. And in Swedish, I do this twice a week, and I do extra episodes as well for paying customers, paying subscribers. And so there's a lot. And on top of that, I do this podcast called Wander with Henrik, which is like the same thing, but I walk around and talk, travel around Sweden and also Europe, different places. And I say stuff from my mind. And then I do this, Fall Asleep with Henrik, the podcast that has the potential to reach most people, I guess. Although you guys are so far my second biggest podcast. The Swedish version of Fall Asleep with Henrik is by far the biggest. And that's also the reason why I can afford to just spend time with you sleepies. Because this podcast doesn't pay enough yet to get along, to pay. It doesn't pay for itself, so to speak. So I'm just going to talk, and I'm not trying to bore you. I keep returning to that because sometimes people think that, isn't it like the easiest job in the world to just bore people until they fall asleep? But I'm not trying to bore you because boredom is, it's a false sense of calm. Boredom can carry a lot of frustration and stress. And boredom is not the way, at least according to my own home method. Boredom is not the way to calm and sleep and drifting away. You need to be at least somewhat halfly interested in what I say. And that is why I don't cut off parts of my personality in this podcast. What I give you is me. This is me, Henrik, a 50-year-old Swedish actor, podcaster, author that are doing this out of his own curiosity and longing for connection, because that's true. That's me. I really long for connection. I really long to reach people. I somewhat feel my life without meaning if I'm not reaching people. And that's been the case for almost all my life. I don't really know who I would be if I didn't have this profession. Well, not this in particular. Podcasting is, I've been doing this professionally since 2018. So really what I am is an actor, a performer, a content creator. What do you call? I really detest the word content creator. I don't really think that even begins to describe what the profession actually is. And it's such a wide expression, content creator. Aren't we all really content creators? Like, whenever you do something that is visible to other people, be it your family or the world, it's content. My mother is a content creator when she sends a group text to us siblings. And like Jonna Jinton is a content creator when posting something visible to millions of fans. We're all content creators without even really knowing it, some of us. So I think the word content creator is a flawed word. I am an actor. That is my training. I've trained to become an actor. I use some of it in this podcast, although, well, not conventionally acting. I am, of course, using what I learned, the skills I acquired when training to be an actor, doing this, because I know kind of where the line goes between personal and entertaining and private and gooey and awful to listen to. Because I tell a lot of things about myself and my world and my views and my life and the people around me, but I would never go so far as to tell you stuff that would make you uncomfortable because it was too private or anything. I know where the line goes, and I think that that is a skill I acquired when training to be an actor. My teachers used to say, personal, not private. That was somewhat of a mantra when studying. Personal, not private. Private is uninteresting. Personal is really attractive and interesting and comforting and nice. So I'm trying, Sleepy, dearest Sleepy, to be personal with you. And I'm not trying to bore you. I am really trying to entertain you in a way. But since I don't have a script and I haven't thought ahead, I haven't planned, then it becomes kind of blurry, And that is exactly the point. So you can just safely drift off to what I say. I won't say anything ground shaking, or if I do, it will be purely by accident. As I always say, if I do or say anything fundamental in this podcast, it's by accident, and it should be viewed as such, an accident. So we have an hour ahead of us, and it always feels hard in the beginning. It always feels like, how am I supposed to deliver? Since I don't think in terms of boring you, because if I was